Welcome back to ShopDog-Garage. I have been in here working on the RocketShip. I've shot a couple quick short videos. I'll turn the camera around in just a second. But I was called out on the fact that I'm never in my videos. So there, now I'm in the video. So I've been working. I've done a couple shorts. Let me turn the camera around. That didn't work. Okay, now the camera's turned around because, you know, old guy, don't know how any of this works. So I've been working this morning for, well, an hour on the Joe Rogan meter on getting this valence a little smoother than it was. And I'm starting to get pretty happy with it. I have a few areas, like right here, that I'm going to have to fill. And I've got one right there, oddly enough. And I realize none of those will ever be noticeable with the way the cars are built. Let's come in here. Okay. And this car is black, you know, the color that shows everything. Well, you can't see any of that because that's where the bumper rides. So, not too worried about it, but, you know, might as well fill it in while I'm working. I have sanded almost the entire car down with the 600 dry. I have not, in fact, you can see here, I have not actually done body lines. So if you wonder why they look so crisp, it's because they still have the dust on them. And I've got to do these two today. In fact, those are probably really high on my list. I've got a few little things here and there that I want to fill in. You know, dink, dink, dink. Nothing crazy though. It's not as bad as I thought. And originally I was going to use some dolphin glaze, which I even bought. It's not that expensive, so. But Harlan has a different method he wants me to use. And you know, trust the guy that's doing the paint. So we will go a different way. In fact, you can see over here, I haven't sanded down the body line yet. I think I'm going to make a tool, but I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do that. Hopefully, I'm getting the car straightish. As I come down, it appears pretty straight to the eye, but who knows? Maybe I'm making giant mistakes and I don't even know it. I'm going to continue a little bit more work here. I'll pick up the camera in a little while, but I've got a little bit more sanding I want to do right in here and up in there. Then I think I will probably go ahead and pull those forward and sit here, listen to a podcast and do some sanding. Okay, so now I've got this all much, much nicer, especially right in here. Wow, was that bad. Same under here. So I feel a little better about that. I realize all of that gets hidden by the grill material, but I don't want smooth paint going into rough paint, especially at an area where I'm bolting parts. That seems like a bad idea. Okay, we've been working on this for a little bit. It's getting there, but there's a lot of work to do yet. I've got most of it pretty smooth. Believe it or not, this upper lip was really difficult. It's almost there. But trying to get that flat because a piece of trim rides on that. This is also because there's a funny fold in it. Same here, there's a couple spots with weird, probably from when they stamped it. See, there's like this divot here from when it's stamped, and I'm sure the metal folds. So I just got to get that smooth. So I've been working with my MB1, which is really, really soft, but does kind of keep things flat, you know, so you can kind of get in here and get most of that. And then unfortunately, the rest of it, little pieces of paper by hand, and then every now and then just vacuum everything up. Fingers are starting to get a little sore, but look at this. Hopefully the shiny shows up. This is starting to look pretty decent. So, and this is one of those things, it's one of the first things you see because you got the wipers and it brings the chrome in, there's a chrome strip there. So it's one of the things people look at. So I really want it to be smooth, and it's definitely getting there. Alright, I just did my first W pass on this side of the spoiler, and you can see that alligator skin. I have not done this side yet, so let me do that, and I will probably decide what the right tool for this shape is. I think it is going to be this very soft block because it has a nice, the block itself is very soft, but it has a nice backing. And that should help keep its shape a little bit. So I can do the flatter part like that. But I need to be careful that I don't wind up with a line. In fact, you can see kind of starting right there. So I've got to be very cognizant of that. Alright, I've been working on the spoiler. You'll see this side, I've only got one pass so far. Looking a little rough. But this side, besides a little dust that's on it, not looking that rough. This side looks amazing. That's just dust from working on the other side. So I think the spoiler is going to come out really, really nice. Okay, I'm back in the video again. I've been called out on that a few times that I'm never in them. Look at that. I think that's come a long way. So the car's coming together. Let me turn the camera around, only this time hopefully I do it right. Alright, let's zoom in here. Actually, we're already a pretty good zoom. Hopefully that shows just how smooth that is. Both sides. So I'm pretty happy with that. I think that's going to look fantastic. Alright, so let's take a quick inventory of what we know. We have a couple small imperfections, and I've been told that I can mix up a little filler, dab them in those imperfections, sand them down. It sounds perfectly doable for me, so that's in my wheelhouse. Pretty happy with the deck lid. Deck lid came out really nice. On the filler panel, I've got a spot here that I don't like, and I don't know why that's right there. That should be right there. And that I don't like. I haven't decided how I want to address that. Obviously, if I'm mixing anything up, I've got some tiny, tiny spots I might as well go ahead and fill. Pretty happy with most of this side. A couple little things here by the vent window that I might as well take care of. A couple little pinholes here. Same up there. And I recall there were a couple on the roof. I don't know that I actually marked them, so I will have to search for them again. They may have come out. My memory isn't the best. But, yeah, so kind of getting there. I'm actually going to go off on a tangent and work on something else for a little. Oh, yeah, and there was a couple here that we didn't like. So this video will probably have a reasonable sized gap in it. So at this point, thanks for watching. I'll be right back. I actually was not going to include any of this in a video, but I've decided I might as well. Gotta own up to mistakes you make. I blew it here. So I've just ground that down to metal. I've got a little more cleanup to do in here. And then I'm going to put the etching primer on there. So you see I gotta get in here yet. Get the etching primer on there. And I'm going to refill that. Alright, for those that have been watching, you know on the welded areas we did this metal to metal. And that is this kind of gray stuff between the welds here. And that stuff is not coming out. Not even at all. So I think that's going to be safe to seal. I've got a little more cleanup I want to try to do in here before I do that. Like this ridge right here. But yeah, this will work out. And when we're done, we'll get this built up the way it should be. Alright, we've got the DP40 on there. Got to let that dry. So I think that's going to wrap it for right now. We'll be back. This video is obviously going to be a multi-day video. Alright, the DP40 went on. It dried. And we did a structural coat of, I don't remember what it's called. This stuff here, the short strand fiberglass, so basically like a kitty hair. We got that on there. We got it sanded. And then I went ahead and mixed up another 10 cc's of the DP40 and did another layer because when I was sanding all that, obviously I exposed metal again. So now I think it's ready, well, in the next day or two. for me to go back to my Platinum here. We'll dress it up a little bit, and then I'll mix up some K36, and we'll get all that done. But now, see, remember, I had done all that build up there. It never occurred to me the entire time I was welding, the entire time I was working, that this side was squared off. And I had made that very, very nicely pointed, very smooth. It looked really nice, but it didn't look like this. So, before painting, might as well take care of it now. It'll never get easier. So that's what I've been doing. Wasn't originally going to show that, but then I was reminded that showing errors is important. Okay, came out at lunch. Just mixed up a little batch. Smeared it all over in there. Almost all of that's going to come back off. And then I will brush epoxy, no, not epoxy, polyester primer over it. So it'll be that over it. But that's going to give us the shape I wanted. So that's probably the last bit of the Platinum I'm going to be mixing this project. Alright, so that has been sanded down. I'm sure you notice there's a lot less of it than there was. But you get that nice profile now. Okay, so at this point we've got K36 on here again. Looking pretty good. And the thing I want to point out, and there's still some smoothing to do, but look at how much nicer that looks with that correct leading edge than it did before. Yes, I'm the only person in the world who cares, but, you know, had to be done. A little bit of sanding, and this is starting to smooth out. I've got one little ding I don't like right here. That seems easy enough to take care of. Okay, I think I'm pretty happy with that. So with that, that's probably going to wrap up that video. Ignore that. Things are never in the time you think they are. So we're doing some more sanding, and I did do some spot fills in a few areas I'm going to have to sand down. But everywhere I did some spot filling, got to sand it back down. So I think I'll wind up going over the whole car one more time, making sure I'm happy. Anyway, thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.